fuck all the friends, all the noise, all the clutter, all the distractions. You have to forget all of that at some point in your life. And this happens by isolation. The power of solitude. This is when you are going to find yourself as a man. This is when you are going to realize a lot of things. But first, you have to detach yourself a little bit, because the thing about it is, the more you have around you, the more people, the more noise, the more distracted that you get. You have no time and you have no space and energy to really find yourself. So you have to cut all of that off. And I'm going to get into it. First of all, this is a Tarik Talks Midnight Podcast. Sit down, relax, and enjoy. You know, as men, we're just told that we have to be the life of the party, and we have to have all of these friends, quotation marks, quote unquote friends. We have to be this super captivating, super popular, very, and with the advent of social media, we have to be this influential, larger than life character. And that's fine and dandy if you get to that level. That's awesome. But at the same time, if you really want to know who you are, if you really want to find your purpose, like some other channels say, or you really want to find yourself as a man, you really want to grow into a man, you want more respect, you want more maturity. And, in this channel, I talk about attraction. If you want more attraction, you must have solitude. You must be isolated to a certain extent. And the word isolated inherently has a negative connotation. And it can be negative if you let it be that way. But if you use it to your advantage, it is going to make you a stronger man. See, I made a whole bunch of podcasts and videos talking about silence and why it's important for men. Well, part of solitude, part of isolation is silence. This is a major part. This is why I talk about it. There's different layers. There's different aspects. There's different levels. And when you have this silence, when you have this isolation, you really have time to reflect. You really have time to reflect, and you really have time to think about all of the events that happen. And you can somewhat formulate a plot. You can somewhat formulate a plan. And you can somewhat find out what your flaws are, so to speak, or what you could have done a little more differently. And you can build on that. You can look back and say, hey, look, when I was doing this, when I was being a little too goofy, when I wasn't taking anything serious, when I was just trying to have fun all the time and not taking my job serious or taking my passion serious, I wasn't getting the respect I wanted, or I didn't feel like I was where I was supposed to be. When I was hanging out with all of these friends all the time, when I was doing things just to please others, I stunted my growth. These are some of the thoughts that should cross your mind, and that will. See, I came to this realization during the quarantine. All right, the quarantine was probably one of the best things to happen to me. It really sat me down. It really told me to slow down. It really told me to, because I seen everything that was going on. I seen everything that was unfolding, and I wasn't really too happy about it. Right? That whole reflection thing that I was talking about, That's when that happened for me, when I was in the quarantine, as many of you guys were. Everything was closed down. You don't have to be in quarantine, of course, but this is when it happened. This is something that you can use to your own advantage. Started thinking back to myself, man, all these missed opportunities because I was so cluttered. See, fellas, when you're cluttered with too many people, when you're cluttered with too many entities, too many souls, too many spirits coming at you, too many energies coming at you from every which direction, you get distracted. Because even though we all have our own minds, no matter how strong your will is, the more people you hang around with, the more, hell, you might be subconsciously swayed to do something. You might not even be conscious that you're being swayed to do something, or you start doing things that you were influenced because you were influenced by your so-called friends and you didn't even realize it. It's subconscious. See, this is how powerful other people's energies are. It's you subconsciously get influenced. So the more you're hanging around people who are just have no kind of ambition, every time you tell them some kind of dream or aspiration or something like that, they shit on it. They rather just chill there and smoke weed and just, do things that really don't benefit, or they're just gonna blame the white man or blame this person or blame that person, and oh, this can't happen. Fuck all that. See, that's what happens when you're with a lot of people. And don't get it wrong, if you have a positive friend group that is about getting money, that is about positivity, that's great, that's awesome. Even then, spend time with them, bounce ideas off of each other, right? Get what get valuable information, and then when that's all said and done, go into solitude. Go reflect with yourself. Sit there in silence. Sit in silence with yourself. And speaking of silence, a little side note here. Always say less than necessary. Okay? Always say less than necessary. This is a very important rule. One of the 48 laws of power. Say less than necessary. You holding your tongue will save you from looking foolish. It'll save you from a lot of problems. It is going to see, there's a proverb. It's called, your mouth should have 3 gatekeepers. First, is it kind? 2, is it true? 3, and this is not in order. I reorder them, right? I reorder them from least to most important. The most important gatekeeper, the third one, is it necessary? Is what you are about to say necessary? Because trust and believe, fellas, this is part of the whole isolation deal that I'm talking about. The more you divulge things, the more you talk about things, the more you let people into your personal life, the more they are going to have ammunition on you, or the more their perception of you is going to be skewed. So please, before you decide to divulge anything about yourself, ask yourself, is what I'm divulging right now necessary? Is the information, or is this statement that I'm about to make, this joke, what have you, is it necessary? Is it going to make me look bad or good? And if you think that it's going to make you look bad, or maybe you think that it's somewhat unflattering, keep it to yourself, right? And here's another little tip for you guys. While you're practicing isolation, of course, you're still going to come into contact with people. right? Still going to come into contact with people. While you're practicing solitude, solitude is not only you being by yourself, but it is also when you're around people, being serene, being solemn. What does this mean? This means listen to people. Listen more than you talk. Listen to people when they're talking. When you are interacting with someone, just listen to them. People will tell on themselves, right? So you can then decipher if this person is good for you or bad for you. People are always going to tell on themselves. And this is also part of solitude, okay? Because of course, even when you are in isolation, you're still going to have to come out there in the real world. So when I say isolation, I don't really mean to isolate yourself in a dungeon, okay? I just mean isolate not only your physical, but also your energy as well. And yes, this might be temporary. Of course, this might be temporary, but this temporary time, it gives you time to think about who you are as a man. If you've been falling off on your fitness, isolate yourself for a little while. Focus on that. The only reason I'm using fitness is because that's my hobby. That's my passion. It's what I love doing. Whatever it is that you like doing, isolate yourself. Really find what you want to do. Really think about, hey, is the respect that I'm getting, is it as good as it can be? Because, fellas, look, I have my extroverts on here and it's fine and dandy. I'm going to tell you from personal experience, when you are more reserved, when you keep those 3 gatekeepers of the mouth in mind, what were those gatekeepers again? Is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? Right? Meaning you're not just talking every 5 minutes just for the sake of fucking talking. People are going to respect you way more. You could believe it. You cannot. You could still have the mentality of, oh, I'm just going to run my mouth and be this super popular, try to get everyone's attention, try to seek validation. You can have that, or you can have a more solemn, more serene, more reserved type of attitude, right? That isolation that I'm talking about. Isolate your energy a little bit. People are going to respect you, because a man that talks a lot is foolish. Okay? A man that is just just all day, every day, cracking jokes every 5 minutes, talking about the hoes that he's with. And fellas, everything that I'm saying is real life conversations that I hear. Talking about the hoes every single day, day in and day out, talking about all the females he's bagged, or how much of a player he is, or all of these just move in silence. Move in silence, and I guarantee you, your life is going to be so much more peaceful. I hope you guys like this podcast. Peace.